The following is a morning walk conversation with His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, recorded on the 30th of November 1975 in Delhi, India.
Dance, and as soon as you say chant Hare Krishna and dance, immediately they reject.
Stop. They spend hours and hours practicing how to learn to dance. They go through so much tapasya.
In Mauritius on Diwali there was a very big festival the government arranged. There were more than 40,000 people. They called one singer, Mukesh from India, especially for that program. So when he was singing, everybody was making noise. As soon as the Hare Krishna people went on the stage, everybody became quiet. Everybody was clapping.
Kala Kendra. Here is Kala Kendra, here is Kala Kendra.
This area is full of Kala Kendra. This has become another Kala Kendra.
This is also part of the Bharatiya Kala Kendra now. The USIS used to be here.
Delhi is a very social city. There are a lot of Kala Kendras, so there's a lot of
And
activity.
because the government servant, they haven't got to earn money with others' property, they are getting money and balance time, Kala Kendra. Government servant means fokat ka paisa.
No work.
No what? Especially in this country. 60% of the government servants, they sleep. They do not do anything. I've seen it.
They're reading papers or gossiping.
Gossiping, that's all. And keeping the files thrown away. If you want some reference, it will take 3 months.
That one devotee who was given Brahmin initiation, he was working in the government. So previously he would just go in the morning, and sometimes he wouldn't even go. His section officer would go, one of them would go and punch it, and the rest of the day, they have no work even.
No.
And then in the evening, one has to come out and punch out. That's it. Communistic system, everybody works very hard.
That's what they claim. That's what they claim, but everything belongs to the state. Why should they work hard?
They work very hard because they have a gun pointed at their head.
Now the Russians are gradually trying to change the American system in the sense that if a worker produces more, he's given some bonus. They're trying to give incentives to the workers so that they are tempted to work hard.
That's why the Chinese and the
But
Russians...
what they will do is the money.
Just buy a little more
And then very equality.
That's why the Chinese and the Russians, they don't get along. The Chinese say that the Russians have diverted from Marxism.
They will have to divert art. Because both, either Chinese or Russian, these are all rascal now. It is not perfect system.
But the chairman of the Russian Communist Party, Mr. Brezhnev, he has about 15 foreign cars. Each time a foreign dignitary goes, he gives him a special car. So, everyone is supposed to be equal, but he's not equal. He has 15 cars for himself.
It is not the same New Delhi as 5 or 10 years before. Huh?
Yes.
How long you are here?
5 years, 4 years.
So what do you think?
Everything is deteriorating. Vrindavan is much cleaner than this, and they are supposed to be very poor.
Because in Vrindavan there are less rascals. And here it is full of rascals. There is people. Rava Bhaktasya Kuto Mahadaguna. Rascals means non-devotees. They have no good quality. Kuto, where is good quality? No, they are so civilized, they are educated. But the answer is Manorathena. Whatever they may be, they are on the mental platform. Manorathena asato dhavato buddhi. Because they are on the mental platform, certainly they will hover over the external energy. Therefore they have no good quality. Vairatavan. Simply speculating on the external feature.
So platform means speculation.
That's it. Mental platform means speculation.
Nasukam na paramgatim.
Nasukam
na
paramgatim. They do not take instruction from the Shastra. Therefore everything is failure.
Nobody seems very happy in Delhi.
Huh?
Nobody seems very happy.
Neither in USA.
No one's happy in the material world.
In America, there's much more violence than there is here.
Yeah.
I read in the papers yesterday that the crime rate has gone up in the United States.
Yeah, that must. If everyone is a criminal, how the crime rate can decrease?
Everybody cheats as much as possible on income tax and everything.
Even President Nixon had cheated on his income tax return, but they caught him later on.
It is not cheating. It is the income tax department is a cheating department. So everyone tries to avoid this cheating department. Yes.
People hire lawyers, very expensive lawyers, just to find loopholes in the
Yeah.
tax statement.
The cheating begins from the government. They are giving some paper and asking people, here is $10,000. This is cheating. I promise to pay. But when the government is failure, where is the promise? Who pays? This is cheating.
During the Depression that happened. People lined up for miles. During the Depression in America, people lined up for miles outside of the bank, and the bank couldn't give them any money. And even if they had money, it wouldn't buy anything.
Previously, the governments all over the world would guarantee that for behind every currency there was a certain amount of gold.
Yes.
So if you went and gave that...
40%.
But now, it's no more. Now if you go with that currency, the government won't give you gold. They've reduced gold backing behind the currency now. Every day they're reducing. Because when they want money, they just print more notes.
And you cannot hold gold also. That is illegal. So on other, even if you secure gold, you cannot keep it.
There's a restriction in India, I think.
Now in the United States you can buy gold. They made it legal. But limited quantity.
No.
They do not believe in the transmigration of the soul. And there I have it. Just see, these rascals. They have no preliminary knowledge even, and they are writing books away.
They have a very big press in New York.
Yeah.
Jehovah's Witness. Brooklyn Bridge.
They say the world's going to end next year. They say the world is going to end next year. Then they also say if it doesn't end next year, that it's biblically correct to say that it may end in 3 years after that.
And then again 7 years. Then again 10 years. So I will come.
So you can ask them to sell their press to us because the world is going to end.
Give us free.
It was huge press.
We can make a wager with them. If it doesn't end, then they have to surrender their press.
How much they are in darkness, and they are making propaganda awake. This is going on. Samnagathan Bhirupu. One blind man is awakening other blind man. Allah can do.
All the Kendras are supported by businessmen. They would much rather support a Kala Kendra rather than a temple. Because they think...
Temple is useless. You see, Nanda has spent so much money in that Kurukshetra, and not a single temple.
There's no temple in Kurukshetra where they are worshipping Krishna like we are worshipping. There's no temple all over Kurukshetra. Even they can't worship as we are worshipping.
How they can worship? Worship is done by devotee. Unless you create devotee, where is the question of worship? Without devotee, it is idol worship. There is no life. And without life, how can you pull up? Artificial. Apranasya hi dehasya mandanam lokalanya.
In the back of that Awake magazine, there was one little article that said that this one teacher in one college was doing yoga. He locked himself up in his room. He locked himself up in his room and went into a yogic trance. And they finally broke into his room 2 days later and found him in the same position but dead. So then they say that because he was in yogic trance, that his heart was going too slow to give sufficient blood to the body, so he died.
So by yoga practice he died.
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
The result is he's died.
As for my father, he read that article, and that's what he said to me. He says, you do yoga and you'll end up like this man.
These are government buildings. They are not properly maintained. The roads are not properly maintained. So New Delhi light is diminishing. Savvy motor buses.
The buses are also so old.
All and creating sound so much.
They're losing several crores of rupees every year. One man told me that he rents buses to them. One of the men who came 2-3 days ago. So he was telling me before, he rents buses to the DTC, to the Delhi Transportation Corporation. That he rents it to them for ₹1 a kilometer, and he makes about 40 pice. And even though they're getting it for ₹1 a kilometer, they're still losing money on it. He's making profit, and they're losing on it. Because they sell the spare parts. They're so corrupt.
Take away.
Yeah, the workers there's about 60% of their buses are running. 40% are disabled because they're always losing the parts somehow. Yeah.
Also, I know in Delhi, what the people do is a lot of people, they don't buy the ticket. They give the conductor half the money, and so he lets them go free.
Yes, then where the income? There is no income, and there is loss.
Not everyone does it, but students and a lot of young people do that. But these days, because of the emergency, everyone is behaving all right. Just scared to do anything.
How by emergency you can make people honest?
Yeah.
This house belongs to Dalmia.
This belongs to R.K. Dalmia.
Yeah. He has got 3-4 houses like that, separation. And whole day, 2 hours here, 2 hours there, 2 hours there.
He had 7 ones.
7?
7.
Yes.
House refried, I think.
Another mad man.
All his children are about atheists.
Huh?
All of his children, they're about atheists.
And children born by others, he feeds them. It is easily calculated that government will collapse very soon. And they have made changes because they cannot manage. Yes.
Also, they try to change their image. They'll always...
Every 6 months they've been changing the ministry. Different governors.
That means mismanagement.
I read a very interesting article. The theme was that once a month, every month, at least one government is now collapsing or being overthrown. That was the theme of the article.
Now Dr. Chen already must have become busy, because when the president's rule, then the governor has to do some work. Otherwise, in India, the governors, they don't no work.
In America, in the upcoming elections in 1976, one of the biggest candidates is a movie actor, Ronald Reagan.
For presidency?
For presidentship, and he stands a very good chance of winning.
He's governor of California.
Government will be incompetent, the more the citizens will be exploited. Ultimately, the citizens will suffer. Because they will want money and plunder the citizens. They will be disgusted. Achinna darth bina gachanti girika.